Thriving Through Disability by A.C. McNeil, copyright 2025, all rights reserved. We all long for a life filled with purpose. We want to experience joy, connection, and a sense of belonging. This deep longing resides within us, whether we live with a disability or not. The ancient Greeks called this flourishing state eudaimonia. It's about aligning our lives with our values and striving to be the best versions of ourselves. Eudaimonia is not about achieving some perfect state of happiness. It's about embracing the fullness of life, including its challenges. It's about cultivating resilience, meaning, and connection in the face of adversity. This journey of eudaimonia is open to everyone, regardless of their physical or mental abilities. It's about recognizing our inherent worth and living authentically. Living with a disability can present unique challenges. It can sometimes feel like society sets up roadblocks. But these challenges can also become catalysts for profound growth. They can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. When we embrace eudaimonia, we shift our focus from limitations to possibilities. We begin to see disability not as a barrier, but as a different path to a fulfilling life. This journey is not about denying the very real difficulties that can arise. It's about acknowledging them with compassion while refusing to let them define us. We can choose to focus on our strengths, cultivate resilience, and build a life rich in meaning and purpose. Eudaimonia invites us to step into our power, embrace our authentic selves, and live a life that is both challenging and deeply rewarding. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers valuable wisdom for navigating life's ups and downs. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that true freedom lies in focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. We can't always control external circumstances, including the realities of living with a disability. However, we can choose how we respond to them. The Stoics encourage us to accept what is beyond our control with serenity. This doesn't mean passively resigning ourselves to hardship. It's about acknowledging what we can't change and choosing to focus our energy on what we can. When we let go of the need to control everything, we create space for peace and acceptance. This Stoic principle of acceptance is particularly relevant when living with a disability. We may face physical limitations, societal barriers, or emotional distress. Stoicism reminds us that our power lies in choosing our response. We can choose to rail against the unfairness of it all, or we can choose to accept our reality with grace and focus on moving forward with purpose. Stoicism is not about suppressing our emotions. It's about recognizing that our thoughts have immense power over our well-being. When we learn to observe our thoughts without judgment, we can begin to shift negative thought patterns and cultivate a more positive and resilient mindset. This shift in perspective allows us to focus on what we can control, find strength in adversity, and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. Existentialism, another rich philosophical tradition, emphasizes the freedom and responsibility we have in creating meaning in our lives. It reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by the choices we make in the face of those circumstances. Living with a disability may present unique challenges, but it does not dictate the meaning we find in life. Existentialists believe that we are all condemned to be free. We are born into a world without inherent meaning, and it's up to us to create that meaning through our actions and choices. This freedom can feel daunting, but it is also incredibly empowering. It means that we are not passive recipients of our circumstances. We have the agency to shape our own lives. For someone living with a disability, this means recognizing that their identity is not solely defined by their disability. They are free to explore their passions, pursue their interests, and define their own sense of purpose. This might involve challenging societal expectations, advocating for greater inclusion, or finding creative ways to express themselves. Existentialism encourages us to live authentically, embracing our individuality and finding meaning in the everyday. It's about acknowledging the absurdity of life at times, while also finding the courage to create our own values and live by them. In the face of limitations, existentialism reminds us that we are the authors of our own stories. We have the power to craft a narrative filled with purpose, resilience, and hope. Cultivating virtues. Building a foundation for resilience. Virtue ethics, dating back to Aristotle, emphasizes cultivating virtues, positive character traits, for a fulfilling life. Virtues like courage, resilience, patience, gratitude, and compassion are cultivated through practice. These virtues help navigate the challenges and triumphs of living with a disability. Courage is acting despite fear. For someone with a disability, courage means advocating for themselves. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Patience is essential when facing bureaucratic hurdles. Gratitude shifts our perspective from lack to abundance. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our struggles without judgment. By cultivating these virtues, we build a strong inner foundation to weather life's storms. A society for all advocating for accessibility and inclusion. Social philosophy examines the relationship between individuals and society, highlighting the profound impact our social environment has on our well-being. For people with disabilities, this relationship is often fraught with systemic barriers and prejudices. Advocating for a more just and inclusive society is not just a political act, it's essential for creating a world where everyone can thrive. Accessibility is not just about ramps and elevators, it's about creating environments where everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued. It's about dismantling attitudinal barriers that limit opportunities and perpetuate stereotypes. True inclusion means ensuring that people with disabilities have equal access to education, employment, healthcare, and social participation. This requires a collective shift in perspective. We need to move away from a medical model of disability, which views disability as a problem to be fixed, towards a social model. The social model recognizes that it's not the individual's impairment that creates the disability, but rather the societal barriers that prevent their full participation. We can all play a role in creating a more inclusive society. We can start by educating ourselves about the lived experiences of people with disabilities. We can challenge our own biases and assumptions. We can support organizations and initiatives that champion accessibility and inclusion. By advocating for social change, we not only create a more just world for people with disabilities, but also a richer and more vibrant society for everyone.